No, in the graph that you gave us, it shows that you're full of shit. Like, look at this, okay?
Their own graph proves them wrong!
Hello, and welcome to the Two Step Podcast. I'm Bag, and joining me as always is Mag.
Hello!
And today, got a couple interesting topics. The main thing is that the world is on fire. Upside Down Land is dying. Ricky Gervais dropped a huge fucking bomb on Hollywood. We've got,
as he does every year.
As he does every year. And we got NVIDIA with some new semi-promising tech. And then a bunch of small stuff. There's a bunch of interesting small stuff besides that. But, as always, Mag, let's start with the good shit. Because why not? So, Ricky Gervais pretty much called out all of Hollywood. Every single person, right? Like, I mean, it's literally like, everyone.
Yeah, so one thing is, we can't show the clip on stream, on video, whatever, because copyright claims out the ass for this. Yep. My advice, if you want to see it, is look up Ricky Gervais Golden Globes 2020 on Vimeo. That's how I found it. Can't find it on YouTube. You can find the audio on YouTube, but you can't find the video.
It's very obvious as well that for anyone that has watched this, right? I mean, spoilers, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. This is fucking the Golden Globes, right?
Spoilers! Ricky Gervais did a thing!
But basically, like, I don't want to go too deep into all the things that he said. You should just watch it or listen to it, whatever.
I mean, it's always good, right? It's always good, but he gets harsher every fucking year.
Yeah, dude. It's very obvious that he does not give a single fuck. Every fuck that he has given is long out the door. I mean,
I just love that his opening statement was paraphrasing. His opening statement was basically, and just remember, these are jokes. You're all gonna die anyways, and there's no sequel.
There's no sequel.
And
yeah,
there's
that was
no
good.
sequel.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. And he rips on, I mean, he rips on everyone. He ripped on
including
Felicity
himself.
Huffman. Yeah, of course. But he ripped on Felicity Huffman. That was the mother of the chick who did the whole fucking school academic fraud crap, right? Yeah. And the thing is, and Tom Hanks really didn't like that joke. He was awkward the whole way through. Of course he's awkward, because he has children that he's doing the same thing to. Because all of fucking Hollywood does, right? The only people who really took that well, who took any of their banter well, was Leonardo DiCaprio took it well, because why the fuck wouldn't he? Oh no, it's like, on Ricky Gervais's biggest fucking banter for Leonardo DiCaprio was that he's banging 20-year-olds.
Yeah, right? It's like, okay, dude, oh no. He's like 50 and he's fucking bagging 20-year-olds. Okay, dude, whatever.
Oh no!
How horrible.
I mean, it was just more funny that the context he used that as the joke. He used it as a context to bash Prince Andrews, which is much funnier in that context. I mean, he does the whole fucking.
They're giving him a lot of shit right now, like Prince Andrew. I mean, it's deserved, but
fuck him.
But, yeah.
And fuck all the royalty that allows him to fuck all the royal family that just hide it and want to forget about it. Fuck you. That's bullshit. All right? Like,
yeah, it's stupid that they think that they can
fucking hard questions, but they're not asking him them.
Of course, they never will. It won't happen.
No, they won't.
Because they're actual royalty, right? It's not like Trump where he's trying to be royalty. They actually are royalty and are treated as such, which is shitty. But what can you do?
Which is shitty. It's the modern era. We have no fucking purpose or need for them.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crap.
I don't see why we have... Like, why in 2020, we could say that now, 2020 vision, alright? Why do we need royalty? What does that fucking matter now? Get some elected officials instead of some fucking bullshit.
To be fair, it's never mattered to you, because you're an American, right? So it doesn't actually... well, specifically, you're not a Commonwealth country. So it doesn't actually affect you whatsoever, right? And I don't think the opinion on the royalty in America has ever been necessarily... It's not. I think it's like really neutral. But compared to like the UK, who treat the royalty like royalty, it's really different. The thing is, they don't actually have any power. Like, they don't have power. They just have a lot of perceived power, which means they can get away with anything they want. That's the problem, right? They can't actually affect anything. right, as such, but they can make you think that they can, and they do that really, really well.
Yeah, that's the thing that I say, right? It's like, so why do we need them? Like, what's the purpose of them having them? Also, I didn't mean to pick that card at all. Thank you, game. But
it's just.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that just hasn't left us yet, you know? It's fine.
Golden Globes, Ricky Gervais just ripped on everybody. I mean, he ripped
literally
on
everyone.
Fucking everyone in the room.
He tried to kill and murder everyone, and he succeeded, dude. I 100% think that he succeeded in it.
It was fucking hilarious. He ripped on Apple because Tim Cook was there, right, doing the whole movie thing, and he just like, look, and he was just ripped. And I think the best part about it was that when he's just like, look. Instead of doing all your, like, again, paraphrasing, he's just like, instead of doing all your shitty fucking, like, political crap where you come on stage and you fucking push some shitty agenda, just take your fucking award, thank your agent and your god, and then fuck off.
Yep.
That was the best part. The thing, too, is that it should be noted that this isn't the first time somebody's made such comments at a thing like in a global award, like at a Golden Globes or an Emmy or anything. Lots and lots of people throughout history have done it. That's kind of the issue, I think, is the reality of it, right? Is that it doesn't really matter. Like, so Ricky Gervais can do this, and we can laugh at it, it's funny, right? But at the end of the day, the rich people who manage the fucking Golden Globes, they just get more money. That's it, right? So we're all sitting here going, haha, Ricky Gervais, haha, look, he's fucking bitching over rich people. I don't care, I'm jerking off to that crap. And it's like, yeah, but they're still making millions of dollars because you're watching it. So, who's the real loser? A couple of fucking rich people who get an insult? Yeah, like, oh no, a couple of rich people get their fucking feelings hurt and Ricky Gervais won't be allowed at the after party. So? Fucking, they still get rich, so they can go suck a dick. They get paid millions of dollars just to show up. The least they can do is fucking take a little abuse, the fucking rich cunts.
Nope. Not allowed.
Nope.
Yeah, it's
Not
like...
allowed.
He laid into all of them so hard, and
he did,
so,
and it's funny to watch, but it's terrible.
It is pretty funny to watch, but like the problem that they have as well is that a lot of them, they really don't have any like nothing that they can do in that moment. Like obviously they can make different decisions going up to that point, but nothing they can do in that moment is a good decision for them, right? Because like, if someone wins an award and they go up on that stage and they just say thank you and they leave, right? People are gonna give them shit and they're gonna be like, why didn't you use that as a platform to do blah 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 and do all this good?
Yeah, I know.
And then they get shit from Ricky, you know.
The biggest issue with them giving a platform though is that they give a platform going, oh, climate change is real and you should fucking help support fucking defeating it, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's great, it's fine, right? That's a good cause, right? Stop climate change. The problem is that these people go, stop climate change, and then immediately after the Golden Globes, they get on their fucking jet, fly around the world 50 times, blow it up, and then kill somebody.
Yep.
So who cares? It's like, nobody. Like, they talk, basically it's do as I say, not as I do. And it's bullshit. Like, I don't fucking care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. For instance, it's like Joaquin Phoenix, for instance, is apparently a massive environmentalist. Okay, but as long as he doesn't ride on a jet or fucking use a fucking diesel car, then I'm all for supporting him. But the moment he gets into one of those, his environmentalist bullshit, and it's just
I stop caring. You know, it's like whatever. Who gives a fuck about that shit at that point? It doesn't really. It's just hypocritical. He even said it, right? He was like, you know, everybody came here in their limo, and they ended up they ended up having the environmental footprint of 50 families, and they think that they can come up here and say something. He's like, I'm not accepted from this. You know, I do the same shit, but you know, it's kind of part of the deal now. When you get up to that point, the
difference is that Ricky Gervais doesn't go on stage and fucking push his agenda.
Oh,
he goes up on stages and shits all over people, and I think that's a bit more respectful because the reality is that. It's an important cause that these people are promoting, but it's neither the time nor the right person doing it. That's really the big issue with these things, right? You're pushing an agenda for what is, in my opinion, a good agenda, but you are not the right person to lead that charge whatsoever. Because you're a hypocrite. Like, you don't care, really. You just want the fucking fame and glory. Maybe you do care. It's hard to know, right? Like, for instance, I feel like the problem is you see things like Leonardo DiCaprio, who is arguably better in terms of like the stuff that he pushes, it's still bad because he still gets on a jet and flies across the world. Sure. It doesn't matter that you fly across the world to a fucking African country and donate a bunch of money to them, to starving children. Yeah, that's commendable.
Yeah,
but
it's one of those things where it's like Bill Gates, right?
You didn't have to go there, right? You didn't actually have to go there. You could have just given money to people who are already there.
That's the thing that I think about, right? It's like people like Jeff Bezos, I think, are absolutely evil, right? Like, I don't think that these people actually care about anything, and anything that Jeff Bezos and like fucking Facebook and whatever, like Amazon, Facebook.
Okay.
I think these people are just straight up evil, right? Or they're just not realizing the damage. They're genuinely not realizing the damage.
I think I just think they're apathetic as fuck, right? I don't think they care about the long-term ramifications.
And you can see this because they do things like, oh, well, I'll just donate $2 million to random people in their housing so that we can help them, the people losing their houses in fires in California. And that just gets the public opinion swayed in their way. But it's bullshit. That $2 million is pennies to these people. And then you have people like Bill Gates, who has literally given away more money than most of these people are worth now, right? And he's still up there. And it's like, am I supposed to feel the same way about Bill Gates? Like, it's just difficult for me to really think about, because like Bill Gates in particular has been vocating for he's been vocating for tax changes for himself for years, but it doesn't change, right? And the thing about it is that he... Go ahead. I've talked a lot. Go ahead.
No, I agree. The thing about Bill Gates is that, Bill Gates does more with his little pinky than any other rich person does with their entire fucking existence. And that's commendable. But at the same time, Bill Gates, metaphorically speaking, killed a lot of people to get to where he is, right? He stepped on a lot of fucking heads, right? He was a very ruthless businessman. And as you said, all of the political lobbying that he has done, right, to try and get rich people to either be accountable or to pay more, has done nothing. Because the point being is, it doesn't matter that he might be one of the richest people in the world. A bunch of other people who are also the richest people in the world are voting against him. And there are more of them than there are of Bill Gates.
But the point I was trying to get at is more so like, okay, so the whole quote from Steve Irwin, right?
Yeah.
Where he said, "I love money. I want to get as much of it as I can and spend all of it." Right? So for someone like Bill Gates,
on conservatives.
Yeah, so he wants to get this money so that he can spend it on things that he thinks is important. But like, do we fault him for still running the rat race? Like, does he have a choice at that point? Like, you get what I mean, right?
Yeah, it's a fair point. Yeah, I know, I get it.
Because he has obviously tried.
Yes.
So it's Absolutely. like I don't know how much I can really fault him for just sticking with the rat race.
The point being is, I feel that there are some people we can forgive for that, because they tried, and there's a lot of evidence that they have actually tried. And them giving up, right, and saying, well, fuck it, what's the point, right? It's sad. It's very depressing when that happens. But it's also understandable. Completely understandable. Because these people are actually... Because everyone goes, oh, rich people can do anything they like. They can change the world. It's like, yeah, and then you have a dude who is rich and has been one of the richest people in the world for 3 decades. And look how much change he actually managed to cause towards things like climate change or poverty and stuff like that. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like,
honestly, nothing.
Poverty-wise, he did a decent amount, but like when it comes to actually like reforms that fix the problems that cause people like him, he with billions of dollars, he couldn't get anything done.
He's just as reactive because the system doesn't care, so he can only be reactive. He wants to be proactive, but he's not allowed to be because the system itself.
There's nothing he can do.
There's more people. The reality is, it takes more than one person of anything. So it only takes one person to start a revolution. But you kind of need followers. That's always been the way it is, right? You can't just have one person screaming on the middle of the road going, down with whatever, right? Down with climate change. Yeah, one person screaming on the fucking side of the road, that's just a crazy person.
And another problem is that in the same exact vein, and we've seen this with what happened in the Arpatheid in South Africa, right? You have to have every single part of the machine, every little gear of the machine has to come forward. And these are a lot of people who have done bad things, but they do it because they're a part of this machine.
Yeah, the thing too is that the biggest issue that humanity undergoes currently, in my opinion, is apathy, primarily because the thing about apathy and why it's such a problem is because people are so content with the status quo, right? People are content with the status quo primarily because their lives are not difficult enough to want to change. So that's the thing, right? Like it's gonna get so much worse before it gets better with things like climate change, because it's going to take millions of people dying and people actually being forced out of their homes into a different country entirely, right? Until they realize, okay, maybe we should do something. And unfortunately, at that point, you're kind of already too late. Like, the reality is that it's not necessarily too late. Here's the thing, right? If millions and millions of people in Australia, for instance, die off and get excavated to a completely different country or whatever, right? Because they have to, right? Then what's going to happen is change will happen, right? But you'll lose 90%. Basically, progress will go backwards for decades until people change properly. And that's the issue. The thing is that it's much more cost effective and much more efficient to do it now and to do change now and to make small sacrifices now so that you don't have to make big sacrifices later. But nobody does that. Humans are inherently humans are an inherently reactive race. We're not going to actually do anything. We're not going to fucking make those sacrifices until it's too late. And then when we do have to make the sacrifices, we're going to make them significantly bigger than we had to, and more people are going to actually suffer because of this. So yes, the problem might get solved, but more people are going to die or be negatively affected because we didn't do it now. That's the issue with things like the bushfires. Well, the bushfires in Australia are a whole different story, which we were going to briefly touch on, but I can tell you that the most of the reasons are arson. Seriously, 50 arsons, right? There were like 50 fucking arsons. I mean, so I can get a source for that.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount, and honestly, I think that picking up this frozen core was a terrible idea. It's actually just bad.
So far, 8 hours ago, here's a New Zealand news article. New South Wales police have caught 24 alleged firebugs accused of deliberately lighting bushfires in a catastrophic season that has so far killed 18 people. The thing is 5 million hectares have burned since September last year.
It's pretty bad.
And hundreds of millions of animals and livestock are dead and just lying on the road. Because there's something they could do about that, right? The reality here is that the only real solution is rain, which
not gonna happen.
May never come.
Yeah.
What else we got? We talked about Ricky Gervais. We talked about the world ending.
I mean, I think there's a little bit more to talk about the bushfires, right? I mean, it's like, can you show that picture, the one that you sent me? Can you show that on stream of Kangaroo Island?
Yeah, I can.
Because it's pretty bad, right? I mean, like, people don't actually get how bad these fires are, and like, if you in the editing, we'll throw this up here, hopefully, if we remember. But the fires are quite bad. They're quite devastating, like to the point where, I mean, how many people have died?
Total?
Yeah. Like, I don't think it's a massive number, but any number is bad at this point, right? Like,
so
there might not even be a number, to be honest with you.
There might not be a death count yet, because there's been over, here we go. There's been over, according to Wikipedia, there's been over 6.3 million hectares have been destroyed. The majority of them, the majority of the cause is considered record-breaking heat, record-breaking drought, lightning strikes, a positive Indian Ocean dipole, which I believe is, sea surface temperatures increasing, and alleged arson. Currently, there are 2,500 or more buildings have been destroyed, and as of the 7th of January 2020, 27 people have died. I'm going to bring this picture up just now.
Yeah, that's like ridiculous, man. You know, like 27 people's lives are just ended. And that's just beginning, right? I mean, like, this isn't over.
This is a picture I got on stream here. This is a picture of Kangaroo Island. It's just a road on Kangaroo Island. It's the motorway, right? It looks really, really good, right? And for the record, I wanna iterate that it will look this good again. if there's ever rain, right? If it ever rains, it could look this good again. Earth has a very, very good ability to survive, assuming the humans around it are dead, right? This is what it looks like now. Man, this is it. It's just gone. There's nothing, right? We're going from this green, luscious, fucking paradisical fucking landscape to this literal fucking devastation, hellfire. There's nothing there. And for the record, this isn't just trees. This isn't just trees dead. That has fucking wildlife, right? There is actual animals living there. I mean, they're not anymore because they're fucking burned to death, right? But that's the case. And this is all over New South Wales. And as said, again, eventually, in the next hundreds or, in the next decades or so, this can heal again, assuming there's rain. But this requires humans to actually do something about the things that we do, right? And Australia is bad for this because Australia contributes so much to things like climate change because of their coal industry, the coal and mining. And they don't do anything to regulate that. No, instead their fucking Prime Minister brings a lump of lacquered coal into fucking Parliament and goes, this is coal. Don't be afraid of it. I'm not kidding, by the way. He actually did that. He bought a lacquered coal, so he didn't get it all over his fucking precious, dainty little fingers, and said, don't be afraid of it. I'm like, we're not afraid of coal. We're afraid of what you do to it. Or with it, rather. That's...
God, what a fucking piece of shit, dude. Like, it's...
This is a guy who... I've said before, I don't necessarily want to get into politics, really, but that guy's a cunt. It's like, at this point, the reality here is, at this point, if you are still on the fence about climate change, go to Australia. Go to Africa. Go to those places and tell me any different. There's a reason why they have record-breaking droughts, right? There's just no way you can even be on the fence anymore. Primarily because if you are on the fence, you're fucking crazy. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. Like... a blog person saying it's like fucking, remember that college humor video of the guy pretending to be Google and you had that woman walk in the door and go, can I get a fucking research page about anti-vaccinations? And he's like, we have millions of articles that it doesn't cause autism and one article that just says it does. And they get the article like, haha, I'm right. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah,
no, it's the same with climate change.
It's super unacceptable.
There's millions of articles.
Yeah, it's
prove it's real.
Super unacceptable at this point. I don't care. Like, and the thing is that I know if you're out there in the fucking world listening to this and you for some fucked up reason don't believe in climate change, first of all, you're fucking retarded. I'm sorry, I don't care. But like, at this point, it's
gone past the point.
It's gotten past the point of being a joke, right? It's gone past the point of being a meme, past the point of people being like, oh, ha, ha, flat earth, ha, climate change doesn't exist. Who cares? Let's just fuck the world. It's like, let me say this, right? The moment that we get immortality, I bet you these fucking politicians will give a shit about keeping the earth safe. I promise you. The moment that we get immortality.
Or alternatively, it'll end up like Warhammer 40k. We will just colonize the stars and move from planet to planet, wrecking it.
I mean, sure, that's the obvious thing that will happen, right? I mean, like, it's... I mean, if humanity goes forward, if we had been maybe a different species, right? If we weren't monkeys and we were a different species, it might have turned out different, but humanity is going to be a warfaring, horrible race for its entire existence, I promise you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The problem with humanity specifically is that we're so curious. That's it, right? We need and we're greedy. We're curious and we're greedy, right? Our curiosity, people say curiosity killed the cat. No, it didn't. Curiosity killed the fucking human. We get into places that we shouldn't, right? And when we get into those places, we need to know everything about them. We need more than we've ever gotten because we want it. We don't need to have this much food. We don't need to have all these luxuries, but we get used to them. And then it gets hard to live without them. And the reality is that if had humans just stayed in their tiny little tribes in the middle of fucking nowhere and done nothing, they didn't spread, they didn't fucking look for other tribes, they did nothing but they lived there, would probably have been fine. I mean, yeah, sure, we might not have had millions and millions of people. Great. We might never have traveled the stars even. But we would have survived as a species. Sure. I mean, to be fair, the thing is, we're going to survive as a species. I don't actually think that an extinction event is going to happen to humanity because we're too clever for that. But the reality is that we're going to make sacrifices, and humanity in the next few decades will probably be significantly different than humanity in the last few decades.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the next 100 years is going to be significantly different than the last 100 years. To be fair, though, that's always been humanity's kind of existence. In the last 2,000 years, which every 100 years has been significant difference.
Yeah,
so who knows?
So, like, because think about it, right? I mean, there's no reason to think that this will slow down. I mean, there's no history that proves that it will slow down. It might regress occasionally, which could happen, absolutely. We had the Dark Ages.
Yes.
It might regress, but the Dark Ages only lasted for, what, 200 years? Roughly, right?
Which is a long time. I mean, specifically, it's a long time per person, right? When you think about it. If you're living in the Dark Ages, that's a really long-ass time because you're not going to live 200 years. But in the course of actual humanity's history, it's fucking nothing.
Yeah, it's very,
like
very, very small.
Even in the last 2,000 years, it's small. Yeah.
God, dude, what the fuck? I hate fighting the fucking Snecko, dude. He made all of my shit cost 3.
I like the Snecko. I don't mind the
this guy.
Snecko. But
anyways,
it's pure RNG.
Yeah, so it's just so difficult for me to accept people, right? Like, I said this on one of the previous podcasts, but
I don't accept you. Fuck you.
I'm at that point where I'm not on that train where people are like, I'm an adult. I don't care what you think and what you believe in or your political beliefs or any of this. I'll still treat you like a human being and blah, 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 because I'm an adult and you're an adult. Dude, fuck that shit. We're past it, right? It's like, it's getting to that point where these people are causing so many problems. Like, would you say the same thing about a fucking rapist or a murderer? I mean, like, these politicians and these people are supporting these people doing these things. If you support a politician that is literally destroying the planet, you have a part in that. You aren't innocent.
It always reminds me, thinking about this always reminds me now of that apathy is death scene from KOTOR 2.
Yes.
Because that scene is great. That scene's amazing. It's just really badly placed in the game itself.
Yeah,
but
sure.
the scene itself is amazing because apathy is 100% death. The reality here is that not caring is worse than being evil. Mm-hmm. Because at least if you're evil, you're actually doing something. I mean, you're not doing what I would want you to do, but you're doing something. But being on the fence and being neutral and letting both sides have their fight and just standing around doing whatever you want, that's not really, you don't deserve innate respect for that. Because you've not chosen a side, right? Mm-hmm. It's not, I mean, yeah, I might think that you've chosen the wrong side, but at least you actually have a fucking opinion and you stand by that opinion, and that's way more respectful than somebody who goes, I don't.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, even people, even like half of the villains think that they're doing the right thing, right? They're doing what they believe in. Like, at least, like,
and it should be noted that the villains, that our concept of the villains, the biggest problem with our villains, like Jeff Bezos, for instance, is that they are apathetic as well.
Yeah, of course.
Keep that in mind, right? You're thinking, keep that in mind, right? To me, I might think that this rich person or this other rich person is an evil piece of shit that deserves to be chained and beaten for all eternity, right? I might think that. But from their perspective, it's not that they think they're good. It's not that they think they're good, though. It's that they don't care because they're just as apathetic, and that's the problem. I mean, it'd be so much better if they just were devoted to being evil, but then at least we would have something to point at and be obvious. But then I'm not even sure.
Yeah, right? Like, if Elon Musk ended up being some fucking evil bastard, like, that would at least be, like, entertainment, right? Like, listening to fucking reports about Jeff Bezos, like, saying things like, oh, well, I'm just gonna be donating blah, blah, blah. Dude, I don't give a fuck. Who told you to do that? It wasn't your idea. No way. No way it was your idea.
At the same time, it's funny because Elon Musk... it's funny because I think Elon Musk does give a shit about the planet.
Sure.
And actually trying to save it and stuff. He's just... narcissistic as fuck.
Oh, of course. I don't think that you can get to where any of them are without being
of course
either...
not. It's unfortunate because I actually think Elon Musk does a lot of... I don't like Elon Musk as a general rule. I think he's a terrible fucking person. But he does a lot of good for the world at large, generally speaking. He's just not what I would... I guess he's an...
He's an engineer that got too far, is what happened.
He's not... Unfortunately, the reality is that I like Elon Musk, I like what he does, but he's not the leader of his opinions, right? There needs to be somebody else, somebody more charismatic, right? Just, that's the thing, right?
Yeah, he feels like a fucking robot most of the time when he speaks.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Like, he's an engineer, because he's an engineer. He's a software designer, right? Computer scientist. He did all of this stuff. He's very, very good at this.
But I will say he's gotten better. He has gotten better.
Yeah, of course. I think he's probably gotten better because he has to, though. Yeah, because nobody else is leading the charge. The one person who's leading the charge is the 16-year-old and gets shat on by Twitter. So
yeah, right.
yeah.
The whole hate against Greta is so insane. Like, okay, I will give in to the memes that say she looks a little weird, because she does look a little weird, right? Like, she has that like weird, I can't tell if she's like old or not, like if she's like a fucking plant. But that's
sure,
nothing
but that's
against. It's just bullshit, right? Like it's like whatever.
Maybe
okay, haha, it's funny.
She's gotta deal with this shit.
Yeah, right. Like, maybe she just looks
like,
old because of all of the fucking stress that she's built up over having to deal with adults destroying the world, you know?
Shit. Yeah, that's the thing, though. She has to do... Like, so I think that people like her will be better leaders.
Sure.
But we don't have many of them.
No.
And I just think because people don't want to do that shit. They don't
and
want
most
to have
of the people that would be better leaders don't care enough to be, right? Like, that's the thing, right? I actually genuinely think that I'm a half decent leader, right? Like when it comes to like leading things like the raid guild and whatever else. The problem is I don't want to do those things. I genuinely don't want to, and it comes through when I'm forced to do it for so long. You see it.
At the same time, generally speaking, the best leaders are the people who aren't designed to be leaders.
Of course.
Or rather, sorry, the peace leaders are people who don't want to be leaders because they do the job out of necessity, and then they just do it, and they do it well. People who want to lead tend to be narcissistic and egotistical, and they're not doing it to be a good leader. They're doing it to stroke their own ego. That's their argument anyway. I'm not saying that's necessarily... It's not black and white like that. It's not really that black and white, but, you know, that's the logic. That's the phrase, the idiom, I guess, as you would call it. I'll be honest, this topic is very depressing, and I want to talk about something else.
Okay, please. We can move on. I sort of enjoy that topic. It's at least something that we can talk about, but it's pretty good. Alright, so we'll move on. I actually haven't really looked at this, but I think it's it's cool, but it's pointless, right? So NVIDIA announces new G-Sync esports displays with breakthrough 360 Hz design. Okay, so the problem that I have here, right? I'm not going to bring it up because you can put it up on your screen if you want to, but the problem that I have here is that I don't care. We don't need 360 Hz, right? Like, great. No, okay. They got 360 Hertz and they're using it for esports, but it's been proven.
But the thing is that the thing about the three. Well, no, I'll let you finish your thoughts. Sorry.
The thing is that it's been proven that the difference between 144 and 240 is almost perceptibly impossible to see.
Yeah.
It's been proven.
Like, 200 Hertz is like the upper limit that the eye can kind of just bother with. Like, it's not like necessarily that your eye can't... It's not that your eye couldn't filter it out higher than that. It's just pointless. There's no use for it. And here's one thing that was mentioned... When I saw this on Reddit, there was a guy who made a really good point where the biggest problem with these... Keep in mind, this is for esports. This is what it's designed for. So you can see here, NVIDIA announces new G-Sync esports display. Alright, but here's the problem. Most servers, all servers for internet games have a tick rate, and the average tick rate is 60 Hertz, meaning having a higher monitor refresh rate doesn't really do anything. I mean, it makes it smoother on your screen, but it doesn't actually make you faster. It doesn't make your response... So, like, you could play Overwatch on a 144 Hertz monitor, and it will move. When you move the camera about on that, it will move really smoothly. It'll be really good. But when you start firing at somebody and reacting to somebody else's plays, it's not actually going to matter that you have a faster refresh rate because the ticks are only 60 Hertz on the server. And there are a few fucking games that have a 120 Hertz like tick rating. I'm pretty sure CS:GO is one of those. But then you have games like Modern Warfare. And Modern Warfare in fucking dedicated games can go as low as 12 Hertz.
Two things. One, my chat hasn't been working. To anybody that was listening, that was talking in the chat, I legitimately just didn't see anything that you said, unfortunately. My chat's just screwed for some reason. Two,
I can see those.
You want to know something interesting about CSGO? So, the general public servers don't have those high tick rates. It's only the competition servers.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. Like, the thing about it is, right, is that the only, those tick rates do matter, and even in games where you're on LAN, right, and the tick rate is literally forced up as high as it'll possibly go. The problem is that the division of the second that you see, right? So at 240 Hertz, you're seeing the computer is generating 244 images per second, right? So the reason that this is good doesn't have actually anything to do with what you see on the screen, as much as that seems weird. It has to do with where the computer is generating the image at one time, right? So even if your computer can't display 240 hertz, that's the reason why you hear all these people on FPS games are like, oh, well, just turn all the settings as low as they'll possibly go and let the FPS go up.
Absolutely.
Because your computer is still generating those frames. So what happens is that if you're getting an image 60 times a second, the image that you get will be more up to date if the computer is making 144 per second.
This is also why CS, like CSS, Counter-Strike Source, or even CS 1.6, or even CSGO to a decent extent, are fucking amazing competitive games. Because you can get 300 FPS in any of the Counter-Strike games, like, trivially. They're amazing for fucking 240 hertz monitors.
Yeah.
Because pretty much anyone can get that, for the most part, right?
But the problem here comes to the fact that, like, for the average consumer, yes, these are esports monitors, and they're saying to helping esports athletes and competitive gamers. The problem is that is not what these monitors are going to be marketed towards. Promise you.
No, and even if they were, and the thing is that the only esports competition that they'll be useful for is LAN.
Yeah.
Networking.
Which is only the highest of the fucking the competitions. It's just.
So they're marketing all this shit, right? They're marketing all this shit for the average consumer because of course they are, because that's who they want to buy it. Put it this way, if the only fucking marketplace was actual high-end competitive tournaments, they wouldn't make their fucking money back. This is such a fucking scam. Like, honestly, no, fuck you. It's 100% fraud on the basis that it doesn't matter. It's 360 is ridiculous for 90% of people, and
I don't
just
understand
ignoring the
how
fact
this
that you
is
couldn't
like,
perceive it.
Yeah, it's like, so think about it this way, right? So when you look at a monitor, you can tell the difference between 60 and 144. Absolutely. There was an interview that was done with
assuming you get 144 FPS.
Yes. So there was an interview that was done by Linus Tech Tips with Shroud,
What the
right?
fuck is this song? Really?
What?
8-Bit
Lebowski?
We're gonna get copyright. We're gonna get copyright claimed immediately. Hotel California chiptunes.
Okay.
Fuck's sake.
I mean, just remove it if it gets done. We have the ability to do that. But anyways,
we do.
so what was I saying? Oh yeah, Linus Tech Tips did an interview with Shroud, right? If you don't know who either of those people are, go on the internet more. Sorry.
Like, Linus does Linus Tech Tips on YouTube. It's a fucking tech channel, and Shroud is a fucking streamer. There you go.
Shroud is one of the most mechanically talented FPS game players in the world. He's just a monster, right? So, anyways, he did an interview with Shroud, and Shroud said the difference between 60 and 144 is night and day.
Yeah.
He said the difference between playing a video game, or a competitive video game, between 60 and 144 is night and day. He said the difference between 144 and 240 is maybe 10% at most.
I'd like to point out too that because I got a 144 hertz monitor myself, but I'm barely getting use out of it for most games because my graphics card isn't good enough. I'd like to point out that it really matters for competitive gaming, and it doesn't matter nearly as much for single player games because it doesn't really matter.
Honestly,
but at the same token, right? On a single player game, going from 60 to 144 hertz, for instance, feels fucking good though. Like, it's not necessary, but it feels really good. It's so responsive. I wish I could do it more.
Another thing,
on Doom 2016.
Another thing though is that in general, that feel good, it has like a limit, right? Like 144 is basically the limit. I mean, if you're getting 90 or 100, it still looks great. And at that point, being able to scale up the resolution does a lot more for how everything actually looks to your eye than the frame rate does. So I myself play on a 1440p monitor, right? And the 1440p monitor gets 90 hertz. That's as much as my monitor gets. I have another monitor that can do 144, but I don't really use it that often because I don't care to, right? I don't play any competitive shooting games. I don't play fighting games. I don't play games where frames matter, right? It's just not a thing that I care about. So this whole article, like, is just like, here, I'll pull it up just because, who cares? This whole article is just kind of it's just they put Dota in here, dude.
Oh yeah, I know, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, Dota, why would you need that in Dota?
Yeah, like, I can see shooting it. Dota, really? Who cares?
Hey, dude. I mean, they've got CSGO, they've got Dota, but they don't have the most competitive game in the world that would absolutely greatly benefit from a 360 Hz monitor, right? Hearthstone.
It's true. Absolutely true.
Like, come on,
Card
man.
games need some good FPS, dude.
Fuck yes. Absolutely.
You look at this stupid relative flick shot improvement. Look at this. This right here, this shows you how stupid it is. This graph is literally demonstrating how stupid that this thing is. Look at this. Look at this graph. You see this graph here towards the middle, Mag? Look at this graph.
Yeah, I'm just pulling it
relative
up on my stream here.
flick shot improvement. You can see. Look at what I said, right? Listen what I said. 60 hertz. And the increase in improvement is 28% when you jump up to 120. Look at how tiny of a difference it is from 120 to 240, and so even tinier.
Hang on, so they're literally doing this, right? I like how they say, we found that higher makes a significant difference. Does it? Not in this graph, it doesn't.
No, in the graph that you gave us, it shows that you're full of shit. Like, look at this, okay?
Their own graph proves them wrong! What the fuck, though?
Like, look, I mean, I legit said all of that, right? I hadn't looked at this graph, and I honestly really wasn't reading, but look at all, think of all the things that I said. This graph exactly shows what I said. It's... Jesus Christ. All right,
oh my god, but that's the thing, right? So you get 54 points. The thing is that they're probably trying to compare it from the 120 to 360. So because at 120 you get 54.7 milliseconds, whatever, and then at 360 FPS you get 20 milliseconds, which is obviously less. It's more than half gain, right? Yeah, but do you know how fucking expensive you're going to be paying for that gain, and how like it's not even. And also, I'd like to point out that lower once you get to like 50 ms. It's really hard to tell the difference with anything.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why the response time for cloud gaming, for instance, really wants to get to 50 milliseconds. Because, for instance, as an example, the response delay, right, for your monitor tends to be lower than 50 milliseconds. You're not going to notice it. You don't notice that because it's so fucking low. It's there, but you don't notice it. As long as you can get under 50 ms response time, it's pretty good. I don't know what you would do with 20.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, your brain doesn't function that fast, you know? Like, it legitimately just doesn't. Like,
No, actually, in fact, the reaction time for an average human is what? 200 milliseconds?
Well, here, we're going to do this real quick. We're going to do this. Reaction... I can't fucking spell. Reaction time test. We're going to do this shit right here.
On your stream?
Online reaction time test. Yeah, I'm doing it right here.
Can
okay, so red light, green light. Okay,
stream.
so we're gonna start over. So click here to start. Button to click. All right, so we click here to start, and then whenever this goes to, what is it? Click the large button on the right. Wait for the stoplight to turn green. When the stoplight turns green, click the large button quickly. Click the large button again to continue to. Okay, so here we go. Ready? We're gonna see what my reaction time is. Huh? Here, I'll link it to you. It's.
Give me the link. I'm gonna try this on my stream as well.
Yeah, let's see here. There you go. So we're gonna do this real quick.
Yeah.
Let me see here. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna start first. So here we go. Click to start. So we click it when it turns. We click here when it turns green. So 0.25, right? Okay. So here we go. Click here to continue. 0.29. Okay. 0.25 again. 0.25 again. So you can see my average reaction time is 0.25 seconds, right? I did that one slow because I was talking and I wasn't thinking. So my average time is like 2.5 seconds, right? So I mean, like, the amount of difference that so this is what? How many milliseconds? It's 20 milliseconds difference, right?
Yeah. So I got like 270 milliseconds average response time.
Yeah, I fucked up my third one, so mine's 2.27. It's 277 because I did 3.336 on my last one because I was fucking around. But so like you can see the difference in response rate. So when they say 20 milliseconds, right? This is 20 thousandths of a second. So the number is over here. It would be like this number and another one is the difference in speed. Like, let me do this one more time.
Yep. I mean,
So it's like
silly.
the amount
I
of
just don't
difference.
understand
Yeah,
how they can
it's
advertise this
like
shit.
the amount of difference is ridiculous. That they even that's not the right one. That's also not the right one. Okay, here we go. So we're back into the game. Anyways, so the amount of difference that you're getting out of these monitors is so ridiculously negligible that it's just
Why?
it's
It's
pure
especially-
just bullshit.
Yeah, unless these monitors are the same price as like a 240 hertz monitor,
Which they won't be.
Maybe fine, but they
No
won't be. They're not going to be. They're right. Like they're marketed. The problem is that anybody who get like. They're marketing towards the people who think that you need to follow the esports meta to be good at a game. I would like to point out that if you really want to follow the FPS esports meta, right, you won't be buying a 360 hertz monitor. You'll be buying a CRT.
So let me show you
Okay.
something real quick. Is there any information on here that would be bad for anyone to see on my Amazon?
Fair point.
Is there any information
you gonna take a
here
look
that
at the
would be bad?
You're gonna take a look at the prices of some monitors.
Yeah, I'm just checking to see if there's any bad information here. Oh, I'm not signed in. Good. Okay, I'm not signed in on this one. Okay, so here we go. So, like,
I can always cover it up in editing if there's anything.
oh yeah, but okay. So look at here. I just looked up for 240 hertz gaming monitor, right? A 24.5 inch, which is tiny, 24.5 inch full HD 1080p gaming monitor. This is with a TN frame, which is fucking the TN screens are terrible. It's got a 1 millisecond response time. Oh wow, crazy. Anything that's 5 or lower is fine. You know, 1 millisecond, whatever. $270 for a 24-inch one, right? And then if you look at like
10.
yeah, and it's a TN panel. TN panels look fucking terrible. And then let's keep looking here, okay? So this one, this Alienware, we're not looking at Alienware. Fuck off Alienware. I don't give a shit. Okay, so Acer Predator, right? 27 inches, NVIDIA G-Sync 240, 1 ms, but it's TN, right? This is renewed. Okay, $280 and it's a renewed one. It's not even a new one. Okay, here we go. Let's keep going.
Crashed. Good.
Nice. What even is this? Scepter 30-inch curved gaming monitor, 21:9.
Curve.
This is 1080p again.
Nice.
And this is ultra wide, ultra slim, DisplayPort, HDMI, up to 200 hertz, AMD FreeSync, $254, right? So like, look at these prices, right? And then if you want to get like a halfway decent one, like we're going down to like the Asus ROG. Right, this is a 1080p, 240 hertz, 1 millisecond response. This one isn't a TN panel. $419 for a 24.5 inch monitor. That's not that big, right? Like, I would say that the perfect monitor size is 26. That's what I personally think is like a very good monitor size nowadays.
Yeah, I don't have that. I have 24-inch. So.
But look at these prices, dude. I think 27 is too
I wouldn't
big.
pay it.
Look at
I
this.
wouldn't pay $1,500
So-
for 20.
So now, let's look at 144 hertz gaming monitor. Let's look at the difference in prices and what you can get, right? Okay, so a similarly sized 1080p 24-inch curved frameless gaming monitor that gets 144 hertz, $144. So the difference is almost double in price. And that's going to continue, right? Like, even if I'm wrong and it's not double in price and it's just 50% increase in price, you're going to be paying close to $600 for a 1080p monitor.
Yeah, it's
It's disgusting. Like, it's ridiculous. So let's move on. We've talked shit about NVIDIA enough at this point. Let's move on a little bit. So there's a couple other things we can talk about. I legit didn't even know this was a thing. There's gonna be a Lord of the Rings Gollum stealth action game coming out sometime this year. I didn't even know this was a thing.
Gonna be a thing either. Yeah, I didn't know either. But it sounds fucking amazing.
It sounds like it's gonna be awesome.
How, they make comments on how, like, you know how it's a bit funny when a NPC, like a protagonist, talks to themselves like, "I can't go through this way. There are too many guards." It's gonna
make so much sense when Gollum does it.
Yeah. They were saying like it's gonna be great because Gollum just talks to himself anyway, so who gives a fuck, right?
It's actually gonna be pretty good.
So honestly, Gollum stealth game 2021 is when it's supposed to come out.
2021, okay.
So a while, but
Yeah,
they were
that's a little
saying
while still.
it's apparently a let me bring it up because I want to see who's making it. Daedalic Entertainment. Oh man, I know that name.
What did they do?
Did they make? They have made They make point-and-click adventure games for starters. That's bizarre.
It's not a good sign. It's not a good sign at all.
They made the Deponia series, which is a point-and-click adventure game.
Yeah, the Deponia was a point-and-click adventure game. Not even.
I'm not saying these are bad games. I'm not saying they're bad games.
I didn't really like Deponia.
I'm just saying. That's an interesting choice.
That's like that's like the same as that company that decided to take the racing game company and make a Need for Speed game out of it. Like it's like okay, dude. You remember the Need for Speed game that had fucking what's his name, Vin Diesel looking like a fucking cardboard cutout? Oh, never mind. Let me not talk shit about cardboard cutouts. That's wrong.
What?
Like, what I'm saying is that, like, let me not talk shit about fucking... That game looks worse than a cardboard cutout. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, and that was on a previous episode of the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Which you can look at if I manage to find the link later and put it in the comments.
The link is there!
It might be. I have to find the episode. It was on one of our previous episodes where we mentioned... Oh, it was on the TGA one.
Yeah.
Oh god, it was the Game Awards fucking thing. Look, it was the Game Awards when we were talking about a fucking weird fucking card game. Oh, I don't even remember the game name, but it was ridiculous. The graphics were terrible, and yes, you can see a link to the previous podcast in the cards if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spotify or SoundCloud still, why?
Stop using those terrible platforms. This is a visual podcast.
I know that I put them there. I know I put them there. I know that they get likes. I mean, they do too, by the way. I got the SoundCloud account got followed, but I just fucking followed some of the podcasts I listen to. Just why not? And I got followed back by one of them. So It's great. It's fucking amazing, right? So I like SoundCloud. If you're listening to SoundCloud, you guys are exempt from this. If you're listening to Spotify, I mean, it's fine, but you should probably just listen to it on YouTube. The experience is better. It's visual as fuck, okay? You can see me flailing my arms around right now. You can't see that on the SoundCloud.
We bring up a lot of shit on the stream. We do a lot of motions. If you're listening to this in the car, like if you're listening to this in a car, like 10 years from now, the car's going to be driving them anyway, so what does it matter?
I mean, I guess so. Props to you, because this feels like it'd be super distracting to listen to in a car. This is like, I mean, it's background listening. I admit, I feel like we're good for background listening, but not while you're driving. You know how many people like to listen to podcasts while they're on the train or on the bus or in a car, right? I feel like this would be too distracting with my screaming.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
That's fine. If you're on a train, who gives a shit? Yeah, look, if you're watching this if you're listening to this
play it on your
you.
Bluetooth speaker, dude. Be a piece of shit. Who cares?
You do you. Hell yes. I want my fucking voice to resonate through a train.
It would.
Any case, it's I don't know, man. It looks. I mean, to be honest. Okay, so the developers are a bit bizarre, but at the same token, it sounds good, okay? A Golem stealth game actually sounds... Why the fuck? Like, it sounds like something somebody should have done 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's fucking Golem. What the fuck?
Yeah, does people care about Lord of the Rings anymore? I mean, I know people care about Lord of the Rings. That's not what I'm saying. But it's not, like, popular culture at the moment. Like, not even close.
No.
So,
no, yeah.
Popular culture right now in that genre is the fucking Witcher. Where is our fucking Witcher stealth game where I play as... Who?
We could talk about that, everyone. I mean, I know that the theme music is blowing some music in the show is blowing the fuck up, but I haven't watched the show yet, so...
So Mag hasn't watched the show yet. I've watched some of the show. Like, I already know the whole story, so I don't really care to watch the entire thing, right? Like, I don't care. I know the story of the Butcher of Blaviken, right? Like, I know that story. So, whatever, but...
It's a good story. I've read the short story. I've read it.
It is a good story.
Very good.
But the thing about it is that Henry Cavill does such an actually good job. Like, I questioned him, right? Like, I was very, very hesitant to put anybody in Geralt's shoes. Huh?
My run in my game is just over because it crashes when I load the run.
That's super unfortunate.
It's weird.
But yeah, anyways,
yeah.
So Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I was weirded about Henry Cavill as well. I'm like, wait, what?
I was super worried about literally anyone taking the role, right? Because, like, the thing about it is, is that Geralt himself, the voice was one thing that I felt would be very difficult to pull off because it's such a weird, gravelly, non-committal voice. Like, it just seems like he just cares so little for anything. Which is not true, actually, as many people think.
Okay, this is not what I was looking for, but that's an interesting article, which is fucking hilarious that I just... Okay, I'm trying to look up Doug Cockle's opinion of the Netflix series, because he had like an interview or something recently, and I was looking it up on Google, and what I got was... This is a 2017 article that's literally titled, Geralt of Rivia's voice actor says doing Witcher 3 sex scenes was like being caught masturbating.
That's gotta be fucking awkward, dude. Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I get where he's coming from, but it's fucking... I mean, that's not what I was looking for, but it's hilarious.
Imagine fucking... Well, Henry Cavill had to act him out, dude. What the fuck? So, like, come on. But anyways, he did such a good job, right? Like, okay, so... This might get fucking copyrighted as shit, but I don't even think you're like spoiling yourself or anything, Mag, right? Like just watch. Have you watched the scene of that makes him the Butcher of Blaviken? Like, have you watched that the clip?
No, but I'm guessing it's gory as fuck because it's supposed to be.
It's very gory. So we're gonna. I don't give a fuck. You can cut this out if you want.
Watch it?
Yeah, watch it with me. I'm gonna do a big clap here so that you know where it's at in the thing. So let's see here. Yeah. So we just go to YouTube. And we go, just look up, like, Witcher best scene or some shit. It'll come up. Let's see here.
Yeah,
Oh god, they actually removed most of them. Yeah, they removed a lot of them.
Alright, no, I'm not going to worry about it. I would like to, but I'm not going to worry too much about it, because unless you can find me a link.
Yeah, I'll get you a link.
You know what though? Since we're already closing, let's do this after in the post stream. This is the bonus, right? If you actually watch the stream, we get to do post stream discussions.
I mean, we're basically at the post stream. It's 57 minutes.
We are, but
all right.
Do we want to finish up here then?
Okay, so yeah, so anyways, there's not really much more to talk about, but we'll watch this in a second, right? The big thing is about watching this live in general. The bonus to watching this live is that we do a lot of shit like immediately after the stream. Not always, but sometimes. And you get a lot more of the just like nitty gritty of it. Is chat still broken? No, I try not to talk to the chat as much during the podcast because I'm trying to do the podcast, you know. So I'll comment if it's like super relevant or like an interesting comment, like talking about something that I'm talking about. But generally I try to like avoid the chat if I can. And that's not to say that I like don't care about the chat. It's just that, you know, we're trying to record a podcast.
The chat's important, but at the same time you lose the context when you watch it on YouTube. You don't see the chat at all.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna make a point of view here. Nothing that you said was actually anything worthwhile is the reason why I didn't comment on it. All that you did was say they did really good for the voice. I really liked it. The acting was great. That's not a comment that means anything, right? You mirrored exactly what I said. Like, all that you said, it was just, they're not really, like, comments that add anything to the conversation, is what I'm saying. It's not that I don't care about your opinion, it's just that it's not, like, I normally only answer the chat when it's relevant or bringing extra information into what I'm already saying, right? That's most of the time that I reference the chat.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, you're not going to get any of this conversation. You don't understand the context whatsoever. Yeah. The only time that like the post, when you watch this in post, you're only going to see it. You might understand that somebody in chat said something when we say bloody blah in chat said bloody blah. Mm-hmm. But we're only going to mention that if it's actually relevant to the conversation at the time. In any case, I think that's it. I think
we're done.
An hour of bullshitting around, all right? I'm Mag. That's Bag. You can catch us. So look, at some point we're going to put the Discord link. We say this every week. I think we've said this for 4 fucking episodes now.
Okay, no.
At some point...
No. We decided that when we get it set up to where the podcast is a separate channel, that's when we're going to do it.
Yeah, that's when. Either way, there is a Discord link. You can join that and follow us. It's not really special. You can just see some of the stuff that gives us the ideas of what we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. The link is in the YouTube and Soundcloud and all that descriptions. You could follow us on Twitch. I'm rTastix on Twitch. He's BigDucks, and you can follow us on Twitter. I'm Mr. Tastix on Twitter, and he is Big_Ducks. All the stuff is below the Twitch chat or in the YouTube and or SoundCloud description. You can see all that. That's it. It's gonna be it for tonight. See you later.
Later, boys.